It's really quite remarkable when you think of it. In 2 short weeks, there has emerged 4 vaccines to fight the coronavirus successfully and subdue it over a period of time. It's an enormous tribute to the international scientific establishment that this has occurred, and it holds a great deal of hope for the future. And what's more, it looks as though the vaccines will not be confined overwhelmingly to the wealthy world. We were very worried that all of the doses from Pfizer and Moderna were bought up in advance, and therefore there'd be nothing left for the low-income and middle-income countries. But it looks as though the Russian vaccine, which has already been purchased by, or lined up for purchase by 50 countries, and you can be sure they're not in the wealthy world, they're in the developing world, that Russia will provide the vaccine for those countries, and China is in negotiation with a number of low-income countries, many of them in Africa. And by the way, there's no reason to believe that the Russian vaccine isn't up to par. I mean, it looks as though there will be journals that provide a peer-reviewed basis for the Russian vaccine, and more, a number of very eminent scientists have looked at the Russian vaccine and come to the conclusion that it's absolutely first-rate. So you've got Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, and the Russian vaccine, all of them showing in various ways of providing the doses something akin to over 90% success rates. Absolutely remarkable. But there's another dimension of this which is really interesting. There's another disease which is significantly respiratory in nature, as is the coronavirus, and it's called tuberculosis. And it's the greatest single infectious disease killer on the planet, and indeed the greatest killer of people living with AIDS. But TB doesn't have an up-to-date vaccine. It has an old vaccine called BCG, which is used mostly for children when it is used at all. There are many countries which just won't use it. And it's never had a success rate much beyond 65%. So the TB advocates have been clamoring for a new vaccine. And one would think that if the international scientific establishment has been able to handle the coronavirus in this way, then there's a good prospect they could do the same for a tuberculosis vaccine. What an amazing achievement that would be for a disease that takes well over 1 million lives a year. So this has been a week in the midst of the ghastly virus, which engenders a good deal of hope. How often has that happened over the last 8 or 10 months? That was last week. I'm Stephen Lewis.